Tonight on CTV News at 6, welcome back to Hawrelak Park. After 3 years of construction closure, what's new and what you've been missing?
There's lots of things that people will find that are new but also familiar.
I'm deeply disappointed.
Injunction denied, a legal defeat for Alberta teachers taking on the province.
There's not a good relationship. Let's not lie about that. Government didn't bargain in our minds in good faith.
And shut out.
I'm lost. I'm really lost right now.
A second Saturday in a row with snow on the ground and no Oilers hockey.
It's actually bizarre. Like, what am I going to do on a Saturday night?
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. 3 years and more than $100 million later, a popular attraction in the heart of Edmonton is ready to welcome back visitors. Hawrelak Park has officially reopened. Amanda Anderson has more.
A welcome sight for many Edmontonians now that the gates to Hawrelak Park are open again.
It's nice to be able to come back in here.
It closed 3 years ago today, giving construction crews time to revamp the park.
There's lots of things that people will find that are new but also familiar.
The patio outside the main pavilion is bigger, and a walkway now runs along the lake.
We upgraded a lot of the facilities to all seasons, so they'll be able to operate in the wintertime.
They all look and feel a little different while retaining their historical charm.
There's lighting on the pathways that connect amenities, a new 2-kilometer trail loop, and upgrades to the Heritage Amphitheatre. The drive around the park will also look a little different.
There's some pullouts on the road that didn't used to be there. The main parking lot has been expanded, but some of the roadside parking that used to be here doesn't exist any longer. But overall, the net is about the same amount of parking.
More picnic sites have been added, including several accessible ones, and the playground got a complete overhaul. The total cost, $134.6 million. Some park goers, too shy to go on camera, say they expected to see more of a change.
We addressed a lot of the sanitary and storm, a lot of the water and electrical work, and that's all work that's underground right now, so park users won't be able to see that.
It's a little hard to tell under the snow what all the landscaping and the full feel of it. So I think in the spring it'll feel a little bit different.
The grand reopening will be held in May, and the city says amenity bookings will start June 1st. Many of the large festivals the park is known for are expected back this summer.
Was it worth the wait? Yeah, debatable, but it's been quite nice to at least see them doing stuff and reamping it, and it's nice to see that our city's putting value in the things that make Edmonton so special.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The main pavilion will also feature a new restaurant. Tiramisu Bistro is opening up Lift Me Up on the Lake, which will offer food and drink all year round. It's expected to open later this spring. Teachers will not head back to the bargaining table with the provincial government in coming weeks. While acknowledging the harm done to teachers through Bill 2, a judge rejected the Alberta Teachers Association's application for an injunction against its effects. Jeremy Thompson reports.
I'm deeply disappointed.
Injunction denied for the Alberta Teachers Association. It's fighting the provincial government over Bill 2, the legislation that forced an end to the longest teacher strike in Alberta history and imposed a 4-year contract educators had previously voted down.
The injunction would have allowed us to go back to try to find a negotiated settlement that would have worked for teachers and for government.
In October, the province invoked the notwithstanding clause to end the strike and preemptively bar any court challenges.
This strike has caused irreparable harm to students. That is why we'll be invoking the notwithstanding clause in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
The ATA is challenging Bill 2 more broadly in court this fall. It's planning to argue the government's use of the notwithstanding clause was improper and invalid.
The injunction application was kind of a no-lose for the ATA, right? Is if they'd been granted the injunction, then, the world changes. If they don't, and they didn't in this case, their court case continues.
This labor relations professor wasn't surprised by today's ruling, given the burden of proof.
Because we're months removed from the strike and we're months removed from the disruption that caused, it's pretty hard to argue that there's an ongoing harm that is happening.
For teachers, the ongoing harm is moral. Schilling says many feel disrespected by the government, seriously enough to consider leaving the profession.
There's not a good relationship. Let's not lie about that. Government didn't bargain in our minds in good faith. They legislated a back-to-work settlement and put teachers back into a system that they didn't make any corrections to.
Justice Minister Mickey Amory's press secretary tells CTV this decision reaffirms that the notwithstanding clause is a legitimate constitutional tool, one that allows elected governments to act swiftly in the public interest. But that's not how Schilling sees it.
This is not a justification for what they did or the laws that they passed. The judge was very clear about that.
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province has launched a pilot project to create more spaces at private schools for students with special needs. $90 million will be allotted over the next 3 years for the program. All private schools are eligible. Schools providing programming to students with special needs will be prioritized. Critics say the public system could provide further support for those students with proper funding. The Education Minister says the recent population boom in the province has created a need to boost these spaces. The federal government is pitching in $4 million to construct new healing houses in Edmonton. The homes are coming to the Parkdale neighborhood near Northlands. The mayor wants to see them in every neighborhood in the city. Nicole Weisberg explains why.
It was all smiles at a construction site in the north central Parkdale neighborhood. The feds giving a multi-million-dollar boost to expand the Bridge Healing Initiative.
It will provide people with the dignity and stability that they need.
This is the second location in Edmonton to see healing houses go up. The first opened 3 years ago on the West End, providing a place for unhoused people to go after leaving the hospital.
Each emergency department has the ability to reach out to us when we have a vacancy. They'll get in a cab and come over to us. We'll do an intake, and then they'll spend the next 2 to 3 months as we work with them towards finding them permanent housing.
Emergency room doctor Louis Hugo Francescotti came up with the concept. He says he often sees the same unhoused people over and over again in the ER.
Last year, there was an extra 10,000 visits in emergency rooms in Alberta by patients experiencing homelessness. So we're up to close to 50,000 a year now. So programs like this that we can turn around very quickly make a difference.
The West End location was designed to be replicated, and the mayor says he would like to see one of these in every neighborhood.
The impact is fewer people out on the streets, fewer people out in the communities, people getting the care and support they need.
There's 375 communities, neighborhoods, and one in each would eliminate the problem of homelessness.
Through below-market land sales and grants, Andrew Knack says the city has so far committed to no less than 6 other sites. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
An emergency room doctor is skeptical of recommendations for hospitals following the death of a man at an Edmonton ER late last year. 44-year-old Prashanth Srikumar went to the Grey Nuns emergency room for chest pains days before Christmas. His family says he waited nearly 8 hours to be seen by a doctor before he died. Acute Care Alberta is now making 16 short and long-term recommendations to prevent similar outcomes in the future. 3 of the recommendations depend on funding. That includes increasing emergency room staffing, expanding emergency room department sites, and the creation of high-intensity unit and an emergency room doctor says these types of recommendations have been made before.
Unfortunately, what happens is we never follow up with concrete action afterwards. So if the opportunity presents itself to do something meaningful, great. Otherwise, it'll just be another report that ends up on a shelf and that nobody pays attention to.
The hospital's minister says Acute Care Alberta is working with Covenant Health and other providers to implement the recommendations. A public fatality inquiry has also been called for Srikumar's death. For a full list of recommendations, you can see them on our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Today in the House of Commons, MPs addressed a bill in honor of a Hub Mall shooting victim. In 2012, Brian Alisic was one of 3 security guards shot and killed in an armed robbery. Edmonton Conservative MP Carrie Diot has introduced Brian's bill. It seeks to amend the Federal Corrections and Conditional Release Act. If passed, people convicted of first or second-degree murder could not apply for a parole review and instead must wait for their next mandatory review. Diot says this would prevent victims from dealing with repeated trauma.
For families, the suffering goes on for decades. In many cases, those left behind must face the person responsible at parole hearings. As it now stands, if a convicted murderer applies for parole and is denied the first time, he or she can apply for another parole hearing just 1 year later and year after year afterwards.
Illicic's parents have been working closely with DIOT in support of Bill C-234. The bill is in second reading. Debate will resume later this month. The Oilers wrap up their 4-game road swing tonight in St. Louis. They fell 7-2 to the Stars in a feisty affair last night that had the captain dropping the gloves.
Filled in by McDavid, and he's forced out wide by Heiskanen at the horn. And Draisaitl took one from Huru, and McDavid didn't like it.
Connor McDavid took exception to a Dallas player's clearing attempt that hit Leon Draisaitl. McDavid showed off his frustration by grabbing the player. More than 40 minutes and penalties were handed out. The Oilers and Blues play in an hour. The Oilers are back home for 4 games starting Sunday against the Predators. For a second Saturday in a row, there's no Oilers game on TV or at Rogers Place. It's the only time this season the team hasn't played on a Saturday night aside from the Olympic break. CTV's Matt Woodman has more on how diehard fans are spending their Saturday instead.
Hockey Night in Canada, a Saturday tradition that began in Montreal in 1952.
Everybody knows it's the best hockey in the world, and I think Canadians all over Canada should be able to see it.
While the game has changed a lot since then, one constant has been the day circled on the calendar. For the past 2 Saturdays, Oilers fans have been shut out.
It's actually bizarre. Like, what am I going to do on a Saturday night?
It is different. I mean, I would like it. I love the Saturday night Hockey Night in Canada games.
No rowdy crowds at Rogers Place.
You don't get that same atmosphere any night of the week.
No away games on TV.
And he scores!
I'd rather be playing on a Saturday. I work full time.
So what's an Oilers fan to do?
We have people coming over, so entertaining.
I'll be spending it with my son, probably watching a Netflix movie.
Maybe find something else to do. We're starting to get into the spring here as well, and go out and just maybe enjoy the evening somewhere.
Maybe a chance to go to Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Edmonton Sports Talk host Tom Gazzola is accustomed to working Saturday night before, during, and after the game.
I'm lost. I'm really lost right now. So it's very strange to have an open Saturday night and there's no Oilers hockey. We're so used to it.
Fans looking for their hockey fix could check out a charity game Saturday afternoon.
Well, I'm going to play in the Heavy Hockey Showdown.
The Heavy Hockey Showdown supports the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton.
We do it around the Oilers' schedule typically.
Organizers say they chose this Saturday because Oilers fans would be free.
We didn't want to take away from their game, right?
Aside from the Oilers, fans say there's at least one other team they won't be watching Saturday, this time by choice. You wouldn't watch the Flames instead or something?
Hell no.
Unless you can anticipate them getting beaten pretty good, then maybe it might be worthwhile watching.
Instead, they're looking forward to next Saturday's home game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Matt Woodman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Josh is off tonight, helping us out with weather. Kaylin Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. So taking up with conditions we can expect in Alberta for tonight, partly cloudy. There's going to be some areas of some flurries and some light snow, but mostly just to the south of Edmonton, and the possibility of picking up some accumulations for those communities that do see some light snow tonight of around 1 to 5 centimeters. Cold night, though, for Edmonton and basically all of Alberta. So taking a look at the forecast here for the city as we make our way through tonight into tomorrow, low temperature tonight bottoms out down to around minus 18. And tomorrow, that's a very cold Saturday, despite the fact there'll be some clearing from the morning into the afternoon. So we see some sunshine. The high temperature will be around minus 11. And temperatures, once again, as we head into Saturday evening, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and Sunday itself, well below average for this far into the month of March. Now, thankfully, the winds aren't too strong tonight. There is a little bit of a breeze around, so wind chill is a bit of a factor. Here's a look at temperatures and wind chill values around Edmonton as we make our way through this evening, tonight, into the start of the day for tomorrow. You can actually see that as we head towards midnight, it starts to feel with that little bit of a breeze around closer to minus 20. So that's wind chill, and down into the minus 20s for the start of the day for tomorrow. There are parts of the province, of course, it will be even colder than around Edmonton, especially up towards the northwest, towards high level, and that's where an extreme cold warning is in effect by Environment Canada, saying that some wind chill values tonight will be making it feel near minus 40. I will have more on the weekend weather and the extended forecast a little bit later on. Jeff.
Kaylin, thank you. Coming up on CTV News at 6, provincial probe ordered.
When it comes to municipal affairs, Calgarians would agree that this is a crisis.
The Alberta government is taking a deep dive into Calgary's handling of its water main breaks. Also,
focus on each other, have a lot of fun, and raise money for such a good cause.
Hundreds of high schoolers are pedaling around the clock for a cause.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Coming up Monday on Your Morning, we're talking public parenting tips to keep your cool when tensions rise and what to do when you feel like everyone is watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you at 6.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Alberta government has ordered a third-party investigation into Calgary's ongoing water main problems. The probe will be headed by David Goldie, a former chair of Alberta's energy regulator. Goldie will have the power to compel documents and witnesses similar to a public judicial inquiry. The government says it needs a full accounting of the issue to prevent it from happening again. Municipal Affairs Minister Dan Williams was asked why the province has more authority to compel evidence in this situation and not in its dealings on multi-million-dollar health service contracts.
When it comes to municipal affairs, Calgarians would agree that this is a crisis. It is a failure of the most core and basic services of a municipality, and this is the normal process. And anyone that wants to try and distract from this or say that it's some sort of political stunt should really just talk to Calgarians living their day-to-day lives.
Calgary's mayor says he supports the inspection. The investigation is expected to cost $1.2 million with a final report by the fall. Edmonton International Airport says it's close to reaching its pre-pandemic terminal traffic levels. The airport says it served more than 8.1 million passengers last year. That's a 2.8% increase from 2024. This is the first year the airport's passenger stats have come close to measuring up to the number of travelers in 2019. 8.15 million people passed through the terminals that year. The airport's president says 2025's numbers are a milestone they're proud of. Hundreds of high school students are pedaling around the clock for charity. This is the 18th year for Strathcona High School's bikeathon. It started today at noon. This year's fundraising recipient is Edmonton's Food Bank. The goal is to raise $250,000 to help buy an industrial walk-in cooler. The principal says the bikeathon teaches kids the importance of giving back.
But it also builds our community. It brings us together. It gives us a night to tune out the world, focus on each other, have a lot of fun, and raise money for such a good cause.
The bikeathon wraps up tomorrow with a check presentation to Edmonton's Food Bank. Artwork is taking over Doon Mall for the weekend. You can see thousands of art pieces, hear live music, demonstrations, installations, and maybe make a purchase or two. This is also a fundraiser for Amy's House. The charity provides free accommodations for families who have to travel to Edmonton for cancer treatment. Night of Artists founder Phil Allain started Amy's House in memory of his wife who died of cancer in 2019. Elaine says this event can raise up to $30,000.
So it's a wonderful event because not only does it help people going through cancer treatments, but it breathes life into this beautiful mall. It helps the businesses in the mall and gives the artists a chance to sell their work and really is a great way to start the entire year off with a nice indoor festival before we get to all the great outdoor festivals we have in the city.
A gala event is happening tomorrow night. The mall transforms into a ballroom with all proceeds from ticket sales and silent auction items going to Amy's House. The inaugural Bannockfest at TELUS World of Science last night saw a higher than expected turnout. Alongside an Indigenous market, people competed in a bannock competition for a top prize of $500. Some of the entries included cinnamon bannock, raisin bannock, even bannock with hot dogs. Organizers say the simple food is an important part of many Indigenous cultures.
A lot of our ancestors back then used the main dry ingredients to make bannock, to make bread, and we found that it was an easy way to make homemade bread.
Organizers say they are hoping to make Bannockfest an annual event. Proceeds from last night's event are going towards the TELUS World of Science's Indigenous Access Fund. Coming up on CTV News, weathering the storm.
I was shocked initially just at the kind of depth and complexity that we could get from casks.
Take a look at how southern Alberta's weather impacts whiskey production in a positive way.
Programming brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
Migraine sufferers know all too well the negative effects when a Chinook blows in. It turns out those weather and pressure fluctuations have a positive impact on whiskey production. Eau Claire Distillery says its single malt whiskey is maturing in half the time it takes at operations in Scotland. CTV's Kevin Fleming explains.
Some of the whiskey in these barrels has been aging since the Eau Claire Distillery opened. The aroma inside the warehouse is strong, and that's due to something the industry calls angel's share.
We actually term it now, it's not the angel's share, for us it's the angel's gift. And that's because it does have such an effect on the maturation.
David Farron and master distiller Danny Gowrie regularly monitor the temperature and pressure changes at the distillery in Diamond Valley. Farron says there's a lot of evaporation out of the barrels, but it's mostly water.
It's about 3% a year in other countries. We're about 12% for the first year, so we lose a huge amount. But what we lose because of our dry climate is we lose the moisture. And so we can actually, it sort of concentrates the whiskey and the flavor.
Gowrie is from Glasgow and says he's not used to the big weather changes here.
This was relatively new territory for me when I first came to Alberta. Obviously used to the Scottish environment and what that maturation profile is like. So we are just, I was shocked initially just at the kind of depth and complexity that we could get from casks.
Gowrie says it takes about a week to make whiskey from malted barley, water, and yeast. But when he travels to whiskey judging events, he's explaining more about how our weather impacts the product.
Especially when we go overseas, it's a very unknown type of climate that people are not used to as well. And when you explain how quickly the temperature can change in a relatively short period of time, there's a lot of shock and amazement.
Farron says the distillery's newest product is a celebration of the Alberta ingredients along with its weather in a bottle. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Diamond Valley.
Well, we could expect to see some snow in parts of Alberta. Here's Kaylin Mitchell with your weekend forecast.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, for Edmonton tonight, the sky conditions partly cloudy. There's about a 30% chance of flurries tonight all the way through into the early morning hours of tomorrow. There are going to be some flurries and some light snow. It's a little bit more widespread towards the Edson area and then extending down towards Red Deer as we head into the overnight as well as through Saturday morning. In fact, Red Deer could linger in a little bit of light snow through the morning hours before it comes to an end. For Edmonton for tomorrow, there might be a little bit of cloud cover around first thing in the day, but that's expected to clear up a bit moving into the afternoon, which should be a bit sunnier. So we'll call it just sort of a fair weather mix of sun and cloud for the city for tomorrow, but temperatures certainly going to be colder, and it's going to be cold moving through Saturday night into Sunday morning. Speaking of Saturday night into Sunday morning, there will be a low chance once again of a few flurries coming in towards the city, about a 30-40% chance, and then by Sunday afternoon, looking at mostly sunny conditions. Temperatures moderating through the first part of next week, but we'll see that in the extended forecast a little bit later on. Let's take a look at some potential snowfall amounts as we move through tonight into the start of the day for tomorrow. And for most of the province, it's where any snow does fall, it's expected to be quite light. There is the possibility there, again, from Edson down towards Red Deer, of some pockets of maybe around 1 to 5 centimeters of snow, or in some cases, maybe just a little bit over that 5 centimeter mark. Red Deer could be one of those areas that picks up a little bit more than 5 centimeters as that light snow is expected to carry on in the morning hours of tomorrow. Here's a look at tomorrow morning's temperatures. Very cold up in the north. That's where we have that cold warning in effect up around the high level area. You can see, though, that much of the northern half of Alberta, morning temperatures well down to the minus teens, minus 20s, and even Calgary starts the day with temperature of around minus 15. High temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow, not all that high for this time of the year, of course. Minus 11 at high level, minus 13 at Fort McMurray. Edmonton's going to be around minus 11 and Edson around minus 4. Heading down to southern areas of the province, minus 10 for Red Deer for tomorrow, minus 9 at Calgary, and minus 6 at Lethbridge, and minus 7 at minus 6 at Medicine Hat, minus 7 at Lethbridge. So that colder air is in place this weekend. That's coming down out of the north, being forced down that way by that area of high pressure. Tomorrow, early next week, we are going to have this little ridge that's going to be building up from the south, and that's when we can expect temperatures to moderate. So taking a look at the 5-day forecast, while it is cold through the weekend for the city, you can see that high temperatures come up the plus side of the scale on Monday, near 5 degrees, and up to 9 on Tuesday with a mix of sun and cloud. Low chance of showers on Wednesday with a high temperature near 5 degrees. And it remains a little bit milder through the middle part of next week as we take a look at the 10-day forecast there. Thursday's high temperatures as well could be around the mid-single digits. It cools off a little bit on Friday with a chance of some showers. And the following weekend, so March 21st on the Saturday there, a chance of some flurries, and then pretty seasonable temperatures for Sunday and Monday. Jeff.
Thank you, Kalen. Still ahead, no sign of slowing.
We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured.
The war with Iran hits its 14th day, and
we want to preserve what we call high north, low tension.
NATO countries, including Canada, conduct war games in Norway.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
The conflict in the Middle East is showing no signs of slowing down. Now in its 14th day, the number of deaths and the impact on the global economy keep growing. CTV's Heather Wright is in Turkey.
What appears to be a projectile streaks across the sky near Incirlik Air Base in southern Turkey. NATO confirming a missile from Iran bound for Turkey was intercepted today, the third such interception since the war began.
It sounds crazy because, normally Iran is a semi-ally to Turkey. So that was surprising to see, but, war is crazy.
Turkish authorities have not said what the target was, but U.S. and NATO troops are stationed at Incirlik. In Istanbul, the mood is calm, but there is worry the war could spread.
They are trying to involve other countries too, and so maybe there will be something, but I'm hoping it won't be anything bad.
Today, the United States confirmed a refueling plane, similar to the one seen here, crashed in western Iraq, killing all 6 crew members. U.S. Central Command says the crash was not caused by hostile or friendly fire and is under investigation. In Tehran, smoke can be seen rising as thousands gathered to mark Al-Quds Day, one of many rallies across the country. People are not afraid of these attacks, the head of the judiciary said, vowing Iran won't back down. While Iran has been battered by U.S. and Israeli bombardment, it continues to strike its neighbors, with thick black smoke seen rising from Dubai's financial district today. In northern Israel, Iran's proxy Hezbollah fired hundreds of rockets overnight, injuring dozens, including a number of children. Israel continues to hit Beirut and its suburbs, with the death toll in Lebanon at nearly 700, according to the health ministry. Today, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres visited Lebanon and called for an immediate ceasefire.
Lebanon was dragged into a war that is not a war that its people would be willing to have.
The exact death toll of this conflict is still not clear, but government officials and UN agencies believe as many as 2,000 people have been killed and millions displaced, the majority in Iran and Lebanon. Heather Wright, CTV News, Istanbul.
The Pentagon says its joint operation in Iran has hit more than 15,000 targets. It also says Iran's new supreme leader was wounded seriously in initial strikes against the regime and is likely disfigured. With more, here's CTV's Joy Malbon in Washington.
With casualties mounting, recognizing the cost of this war, a somber moment for the 6 U.S. service members killed in that refueling crash in western Iraq.
Please keep these brave airmen, their families, friends, and units in your thoughts.
From the U.S. Secretary of War, more bravado, suggesting Iran's new supreme leader, who's not been seen since the first airstrikes, is desperate and in hiding.
They've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured.
And with oil tankers on fire, Pete Hegseth dismissed fears about oil disruptions through the Strait of Hormuz, effectively blocked by Iran.
As the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with, we have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it.
Americans are worried about it, feeling the impact of soaring gas and now food prices. It's short-term pain, says the U.S. president, in exchange for a nuclear-free Iran, telling Fox News Radio.
We are decimating them. We've knocked out most of their missiles. We've knocked out many of their drones. We're hitting them harder than anybody's been hit since World War II.
And with shifting timelines and declarations of victory already, the president gave another benchmark when he'll know the war is over.
When it's over, this is going to bounce right back so fast.
When are you going to know when it's over?
When I feel it in my bones.
The president insists on unconditional surrender from Iran in a war that has taken thousands of lives already and cost the U.S. more than $11 billion in just the first 6 days. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Cuba says it has opened talks with the U.S. as an American oil blockade plunges the communist-run Caribbean nation deeper into crisis.
Especial para los representantes de la prensa cubana.
According to the Cuban president, the talks are aimed at finding solutions through dialogue. The U.S. blockade has forced desperation in Cuba with prolonged blackouts, strictly rationed fuel, and medicine shortages. Earlier this week, Donald Trump said Cuba could be the target of a, quote, friendly takeover, or it may not be a friendly takeover. Canada and 13 other countries are holding Arctic war simulations in Norway. 25,000 NATO troops are there, but as CTV's Judy Trin tells us, there are rising concerns about the actions of the U.S., NATO's biggest member.
Canada, Germany, and Norway, 3 NATO nations with troops participating in Arctic exercises.
We want to preserve what we call high north, low tension.
The adversary they are training to fight is Russia.
They're more capable, they're more organized than some of the traditional adversaries that we've faced over the last few years.
Overnight, Russia got an economic boost from U.S. President Donald Trump. To stabilize oil prices after the Americans attacked Iran, the White House announced it would ease sanctions on countries buying oil from Russia, giving Vladimir Putin more money to continue waging war on Ukraine, a conflict that's entering its 5th year.
There should be no pressure on the energy side taken off Russia. It needs to be consistent, and it needs to be felt from the Russian side so that they will come to the negotiation table, accept the ceasefire.
While the Trump administration loosens sanctions on Moscow, it's also taking aim at allies, announcing that it would review labor practices of 60 nations. If deemed unfair, it would levy tariffs. Germany, Norway, and Canada could all be impacted.
Given the scale of the trade actions, the uncertainty that is associated as well as with the trade actions by the United States, that is causing big adjustments in the Canadian economy, and that's why we're making major investments across a whole range of areas.
Those investments include Carney's announcement a day earlier that nearly $35 billion will be put towards improving air bases and roads in Canada's north to strengthen Arctic defense domestically and for NATO. At the end of their news conference, Prime Ministers Carney and Storr and Chancellor Merz were asked if they still considered the U.S. their most important ally. All 3 leaders answered yes. Judy Trin, CTV News, Bardufoss, Norway.
Canadian basketball superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has broken an NBA legend's all-time record.
Fires and hits! An incredible streak puts as he passes the great Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain's record stood for more than 6 decades before SGA broke it. The streak started in November 2024. The superstar from Hamilton helped lead his team to a win last night, improving their league best record. Coming up on CTV News, job loss numbers not seen since the pandemic.
I don't believe we're in a recession, but clearly the economy is struggling out of the gate in 2026.
Tens of thousands of jobs lost in February, plus.
These are really disturbing, tragic events.
Calls growing to ban paid plasma donations in Canada after 2 deaths. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar down slightly, now at 72 cents U.S. Oil was up $2.98, closing the day at $98.71 U.S. a barrel. Gold is down nearly $64. The TSX down 298 points, the Dow Jones down 119. Canada's unemployment rate grew in February. The overall economy lost more than 80,000 jobs. It's the biggest loss in decades outside of the pandemic. CTV's John Venevali-Rao reports.
At recent job fairs across the country, plenty of job seekers have turned out, hoping to get hired amid a sharp slowdown in employment.
A lot of people are eager and ready to work.
The unexpected plunge in positions, driving up February's unemployment rate from 6.5 to 6.7%, after experts had forecast job gains for the economy.
I thought we'd add actually more than 10,000. So to see us shed 85, there's very, very little good news you can pull from this one.
The losses were broad-based across industries, including the services sector and manufacturing. Quebec led the way with a drop of 57,000 jobs, while BC, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba also slipped. In Ontario, employment held steady, though the unemployment rate rose to 7.6% as more people looked for work.
It's been harrowing. It's been dehumanizing.
Zara Boksh lost her job as an administrative assistant 6 years ago, and since then hasn't been able to find a full-time job. She's now unhoused, sleeping on a friend's couch. Still, she's not giving up.
I am still hopeful. I don't know why, but there's a part of me that thinks, with my skill set, like someone will notice me, someone will return a call back. I'm trying to get as creative as I can with how I'm seeking jobs.
Most of the losses came from full-time positions in the private sector and wiping out gains seen late last year. The harsh winter weather in part being blamed, along with trade uncertainty with the U.S. and the softening housing market.
I don't believe we're in a recession, but clearly the economy is struggling out of the gate in 2026.
And some worry the fallout from the fighting in the Middle East could further impact the economy. Still, despite the job losses, the national unemployment rate is actually roughly where it was a year ago, and hourly wages, they're actually up 3.9% year over year. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Alberta is faring better, leading all provinces in year-over-year job growth. One factor includes oil and gas not facing American tariffs, unlike steel, lumber, and automobiles in other provinces. Alberta's unemployment dropped slightly to 6.3%. Most of the jobs lost were full-time positions in the private sector. Health advocates are calling for a ban on paid plasma donations in Canada after 2 people in Winnipeg died following collections. CTV's Alex Carpa has more.
22-year-old Rodiat Alabede was a Nigerian student studying in Winnipeg. A GoFundMe page identifies her as one of 2 people who died after donating plasma at 2 collection centers in the city. Now, donating plasma for money could be banned in Manitoba.
All options will remain on the table. Our top priority is the safety and well-being of Manitobans.
Health Canada said it received reports that 2 people died after donating plasma at 2 Grifols centers in Winnipeg. The Spanish-owned company specializes in producing plasma medicines and told CTV News each donor undergoes extensive evaluations before being deemed eligible.
These are really disturbing, tragic events.
The Manitoba Health Coalition says the province must hold an inquest into both deaths and is calling for a provincial ban into paid plasma donations.
We support ending this predatory practice and rebuilding and expanding the voluntary system that is much safer and equitable ultimately.
Grifols has more than a dozen collection centers in Canada. According to its website, donors could make up to $100 per donation.
There is no incentive
for Grifols to deny a donor when they could be making money from selling their plasma.
Hematologist Dr. Ryan Zarechansky says deaths from plasma donations are extremely rare.
Neither myself nor colleagues in Winnipeg have heard of this complication, and so it really does evoke a sense of concern that we'll have to understand.
Manitoba's health minister said the province is not ruling out ending payment for plasma here in Manitoba, but said they are waiting for a review from Health Canada. Alex Carper, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Coming up, the red carpet is rolled out for the Oscars.
Everybody put their heart and soul into it. Yes, I wrote the screenplay, yes, I directed it, but they reacted to all of that.
Which movies will walk away as the best in the biz?
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
The countdown is on to the 98th Academy Awards this weekend. Here's ABC's Melissa Doon with an Oscars preview.
The Dolby Theater transforming. Here we go. The red carpet rolled out, ready for the glitz, glamour, and stars for the 98th Academy Awards. Comedian Conan O'Brien is back to host this year's Oscars.
As a fan, as a movie fan, I was really excited to be part of it this year because I watched all these movies without being made to.
The Academy introducing a brand new category, Best Achievement in Casting, the first new category in more than 20 years, which recognizes the people who find your favorite stars.
Get back inside.
Sinners receiving the all-time nomination record at 16.
Everybody put their heart and soul into it. Yes, I wrote the screenplay, yes, I directed it, but they reacted to all of that.
Ryan Coogler's horror thriller up for Best Picture against a strong field of contenders.
Sensei, please.
Including Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. The stars from K-pop Demon Hunters expected to perform their Oscar-nominated original song.
We're basically taking songs from films and we're not just recreating them like the film did. We're creating them as a celebration of the film as a whole.
What are we doing for the bachelorette party? And fans of the 2011 comedy Bridesmaids won't have to hold on much longer to see that hilarious cast back together.
I mean, we probably have a huge reunion happening. There's been rumors of what that is, and we are very excited to announce that we have a Bridesmaid reunion that is going to be very special.
The producers revealing a lot of surprises there for us, and they've also mentioned there will be reunions, Marvel ones, in fact, so great for superhero fans. Plus, they've hinted at an extraterrestrial that'll be on stage. We are excited to see all of the surprises. Reporting from the red carpet, Melissa Doon, ABC News, Hollywood.
Edmonton-born actor and director Nathaniel Arcand had roles in 2 Oscar-nominated movies, Sinners and Train Dreams. All right, with one last look at weather, here's Kaylin.
Thanks again, Jeff. Well, the big thing for tonight for those heading out for Friday evening, Friday night plans is to plan on the temperatures. It is going to be another colder night for Edmonton and the province in general, well below average for this far into the month of March. The low temperature for Edmonton down to around -18, about a 30% chance of some flurries for tonight. Tomorrow it's clearing, so a good deal of sunshine expected in the afternoon, but the high temperature will be around -11. There'll be a light wind out of the north. Jeff.
All right, thank you, Kaylin. That is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. I'm Jeff Hastings. Have a great weekend.